All right, Mynx, we're here to talk women's Money in the Bank. But first of all, how you doing?
Good as always.
Good. Thanks for joining me here on the No Sell. Your first time here. So I did a podcast with you about a few weeks ago, and I'm happy you're here to join me. So the six competitors in the Money in the Bank: Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez, Giulia, and Naomi. How excited are you out of 10 for this match?
I'll say about an 8.
Yeah, it's pretty.
More excited for this one than the men's.
A lot more
Not
star power in this one.
What I like about this one is that we got some new faces. Rhea Ripley's been around for a while, but this is her first time in the Money in the Bank, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, so we don't see Rhea Ripley in like 6 women matches that often. I mean, we don't see 6 women matches that often, but it's cool to see her get her first chance. And then obviously it's Roxanne, Giulia, and Stephanie's first time too. So it's cool how fast that they're pushing those 3 women to the top, because I think all 3 of them are really good. So yeah, I'm excited to see how some of these newer faces can do.
Yeah, they're definitely turning over this women's division, and they're throwing it all right in your face in this match. All right, let's kind of see who they beat to qualify, and you tell me if it's the right decision to put this person in the match. All right, let's start with Alexa Bliss. She defeated Meechin and Chelsea Green to qualify for the Money in the Bank match. Was Alexa Bliss the right person out of them three?
In my opinion, yeah. Alexa Bliss is my favorite out of these 6. She's one of my favorite female wrestlers of all time.
Me too.
Very excited for her return at the Rumble, and trying to keep up with trying to keep that consistent. They haven't really done a ton with her since she came back at the Rumble, so I think this is perfect. I mean, she was in the chamber, but still, she's Alexa Bliss. You need a big star in there, like a well-known name in there. So I think it's good that they put her in there. I know a lot of people wanted Chelsea. A lot of my friends, people I talk to, definitely wanted Chelsea in there. I understand it. Chelsea's a very fun character to watch. But I think there's still more potential with Chelsea in the U.S. title. So there's still, I think it's a little bit more interesting to watch her try to get her U.S. title back instead of putting her straight to this. So she's got plenty of time. So I think Alexa Bliss was the right choice.
It feels like she's been in a holding pattern. I wonder if it's for this Money in the Bank. Hopefully. I like Alexa too. All right, next one up, Rhea Ripley defeating Zoe Stark and Kairi Sane to qualify for this match.
So I would have been happy with all 3 of those women, and any of those 3 women winning. I think it's unfortunate what happened to Zoe Stark in that match, because she's a great competitor. I loved watching her in NXT. She was fantastic. Always thought Zoe Stark's in-ring work was just absolutely fantastic. Kairi Sane, it would have been nice to see her win at her return, but I think Rhea Ripley, I know a lot of people feel like she's being pushed too much, being put in the title scene way too often and kind of like dominating all the time. But again, we got Stephanie here, we got Roxanne here, we got Giulia here. So we do have new faces here. And even though Rhea is someone we've already seen be women's champion, you have to have some consistent name. You know what I mean? You have to have some established names to sell tickets to the event. So I think it's good that Rhea Ripley's in there, because she's one of the biggest names in women's wrestling. To not have a really big name in there, to me, would be a mistake. So I'm glad she won.
Yeah, and she's going to be potentially mixing it up with all these girls that are new to the roster too. Great way to introduce those rivalries potentially as well. So I get why she's in
A
there.
great way to make them look stronger too. If they can go back and forth with somebody like Rhea Ripley, it would make any of them look more viable.
All right, next one here is Stephanie Vaquer qualifying last night, defeating Ivy Nile and Liv Morgan. Was she the right pick out of them 3?
So as far as Ivy Nile goes, I'm hoping they don't forget that they were kind of presenting her as somebody who could get the IC title on Flat Earth. I would still really like to see that. I like Ivy Nile a lot. She just has an awesome look that would be a waste if they don't push her a little bit more. And then who was the other one? Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, I think would have been interesting to put her, being that it seems like her and Roxanne are about to have a feud starting. I actually predicted that Liv would win for that reason, so I was a little surprised when Stephanie won. But Stephanie's another one that I think that they're trying to push to the top. For me, out of those 3, I would have went Liv. Let's say I'm the person in charge. Liv is the person that I would have put in there just to get that Liv and Roxanne thing kind of moving along. But that's me. I'm a little impatient when storylines take a while to get started, so I would want that to get started right away. But Stephanie is a fun choice too. I'm not mad at it. She was just women's champion in NXT, And if you want to keep the momentum going with her, it makes sense to put her in the Money in the Bank. It seems like a lot of people like her. I like her. I think she's a great in-ring talent. I think she has a great look. So Stephanie's too good for me to be too upset that she's in it, you know?
Yeah, when they presented Stephanie and Rhea on that screen in that backstage segment, I saw a lot of dollar signs there. So I'm
Yeah,
curious if that
she's
will kind of
popular.
flow over here.
Right. I would have said Liv Morgan out of those three, but Stephanie's popular, likable. I like her. I'm not upset at all that she's in there. She'll be good.
No doubt. All right, the first person to qualify here was Roxanne Perez. Feels like forever ago, defeating Natalia and Becky Lynch. Out of those three, was Roxanne the right one?
Absolutely. Again, that's another person that they brought up from NXT that they're trying to turn into a star. The fans love her. I constantly hear about how great she is. She did everything she could pretty much do in NXT, so it was time to move her up. And Natalia, Becky, those are two big names, but we've got Rhea Ripley in here. We've got Alexa Bliss in here. You only need a couple huge names to sell tickets. You don't need too many because then people will complain, well, where are all the newer stars at? That's not fair. Money in the Bank is supposed to bring people up. So I think this is a good mix of women who are established and women who are on the come up and they're trying to establish these big stars. So no, I think Roxanne absolutely out of those three definitely was the best choice. Becky, they're already doing other things with her, and I think they need to continue to build up that Becky and Lyra IC title feud just to make that title more interesting to people. I think that's a much better use of Becky Lynch. And then as far as Natalia goes, I actually saw Natalia wrestle a couple weeks ago at the Crockett Cup here in Philadelphia, and she was fantastic. I would like to see them bring the character that she does there, which is a more like MMA fighter, kind of like Grizzly type character that she does on the indies. I would like to see them bring that character to WWE. I think the Natalia that we see in WWE is kind of a character that people are a little bored with. So I think that Roxanne was definitely the best choice.
Yeah. All right. The next one up here is Giulia, SmackDown's newest superstar, defeated Zelina Vega and Charlotte Flair to qualify. Out of those three, was Giulia the correct pick?
So between those three, I could have gone Charlotte or Giulia.
I didn't like how they were in the match together. I know it could build to something, but I wanted them both to win too. I get what you're saying.
I would have really, really liked to see Charlotte in this match. Charlotte, again, is somebody who we've seen get so many accolades over the years that it makes more sense to put Giulia in here so that's someone that they can build up more. But I would have been just as happy to see Charlotte Flair in here. As far as Zelina Vega goes, she just won the U.S. title. It gets to me, in my opinion, it gets to be too much when you see somebody like just win a title and then they get this, and all these different things all at once. It just feels like, okay, well, why is this person getting so much attention? Why not spread it out more? So I'm glad Zelina would have been my last choice between Zelina, Giulia, and Charlotte. She would have been my last choice. So I'm glad they didn't pick Zelina. But Giulia's a solid choice. Again, it's just another one where I'm like, would have been happy either way, but definitely not mad. I think Giulia's a great wrestler.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, and the last one, Naomi qualified, defeating Nia Jax and Jade Cargill on SmackDown last week. They did the angle with Belair leading into the match, which I thought was pretty cool. And I'm really happy Naomi's in this match. Do you think she was the right one?
So I've been a big fan of Jade Cargill since she was in AEW. I understand for a lot of people she is still kind of getting better in the ring. I don't think she's as bad in the ring as some people like to say. Some people I think are really overly critical about her in-ring performance. I think she can put on decent matches. Her match against Naomi at WrestleMania was fine. It was a perfectly good pay-per-view match, entertaining enough. I really, really, really would have wanted to see Jade in this match. Doesn't mean I don't want to see Naomi in it because I actually think Naomi's heel turn is something that she needed for a long time. And I think it's been really, really successful so far. The promo that she cut against Bianca where she said, "Oh, we don't want both you and your mom in a wheelchair." Ooh, that line cut deep. So I love what they're doing with Naomi. She's wearing the caution tape. She's got the razor blades in her hair. The looks that she's putting together with this. It's like she's still fashionable, but that's not something that is really important to her. It's more important to her to just be threatening And I think it's great work that they're doing with her. So it's impossible for me to discount Naomi. Nia Jax is kind of in the category of like, I'm glad it wasn't her. We just saw her come off the women's title. We know and we're seeing her kind of coming back for that title. So they brought Nia Jax back so that she could say, hey, I haven't forgot about you, Tiffany. I'm coming back for that title. So I don't really think Nia needs the Money in the Bank to be reintroduced back into the title scene anyway. So I'm glad that it wasn't Nia Jax. Like I said, all she has to do is say, hey, let me get a rematch. Even though I think she already had one, still, it's wrestling. There's no reason she can't be like, hey, I was just women's champion. It's my turn again. Give me a rematch. Like, very easy to put Nia Jax back to the title picture. So for me, that would have been between Naomi and Jade, and would have been just as happy with Jade, probably a little happier with Jade, but can't discount Naomi. She's been an amazing heel since she turned. So I'm really happy with this whole lineup. Looks great to me.
Yeah, they did a good job of building scenarios within the matches too as well. And I like what you said about Nia. She's coming off a really good match with Tiffany, so she just kind of needs to find herself in that U.S. Her and Giulia would be good in that U.S. title scene to kind of figure it out there for a while. I'd like that too. So speaking of, let's kind of count down or count up 6-1, 6 being the least likely, 1 being the most likely. And then I'll give you kind of a scenario if they were to win, and then just kind of bounce off it. You ready?
Sure.
All right. And unfortunately for Giulia, I have her least likely to win this match because I kind of see her in that SmackDown U.S. title scene. And I feel that it's a good spot for her right now. I feel like her grabbing the briefcase would be unnecessary for that U.S. title scene. But if they had no other plans, perhaps it would be like, all right, we have no plans for Money in the Bank. Let's give it to Giulia, have her go in the U.S. title scene and use it as a cash-in there. I don't like that. I don't think she's needed. I think this is just to highlight who Giulia is in the match, and I think that's what I would do with her in this match. I think she's the least likely to win. All right, and then number 5 here, again, another newcomer, and that's Roxanne Perez, least likely to win this. Again, another showcase for Roxanne to kind of show who she is and what she is, but I think she has Liv Morgan business to kind of take care of. But perhaps she was to win, cash in, and then maybe Liv would cost her in that cash in, and that would be a big friction in the Judgment Day. But I don't really like that use of Money in the Bank, and I don't see her as a world champ right now. Maybe as an IC champ, but again, no mid card women's cash in is needed in my opinion. So, all right, number 4 here. I'm sorry, Alexa Bliss. I think she's probably the 4th most likely to win this match. I definitely see her more than the other two to kind of put a little distance between them. But I don't know. I feel like they don't know what they want to do with Alexa Bliss. And as they don't know what they want to do with her, putting the briefcase on her wouldn't make sense. But if she were to win, maybe they could have like a spooky Wyatt, like scare cash in on Tiffany. And then we go to Tiffany and Alexa with Alexa as the new champ. And that's kind of what they would do with her having the briefcase. All right, number 3 is Rhea Ripley. I'm not sure if she needs Money in the Bank. She's bigger than Money in the Bank. But if she was to win the briefcase and then be like, all right, Io Sky, I'll see you at SummerSlam. I'm cashing in RVD style. I'm calling my shot at a pay-per-view. That's what I would kind of do with Rhea Ripley if she were to win it. Number 2 may surprise you here, but I'm going Stephanie Vaquer as your number 2 most likely to win Money in the Bank. And then again, it's very similar to Rhea Ripley. I'm calling you out, Io Sky, at SummerSlam or Evolution, whatever, and I'm calling my shot, like kind of a babyface cash in and whatnot. And then number 1, surprise, surprise, Naomi is the most likely to win this match, in my opinion. And honestly, I don't know if you like this, but you know wrestling history. I would debut her heater as Jordynne Grace is her heater because the Caution Girl is very messy with Bianca and Jade. Now she's going to win Money in the Bank. That's going to only make her more. She needs some muscles to kind of back up that messiness. And really kind of, I just love the pairing. They showed history within the WWE too with the TNA relationship, harping on that when they both debuted at the Royal Rumble or re-debuted 2 years ago, saying they had a big friendship, they had a hug or whatever. So they can play into that. And I don't know, Jordynne Grace saying she's going to SmackDown, or I don't know if it's official or whatever, but I think it's just perfect. I love the scenario. And it kind of came to me once they said it. So that's why Naomi is number 1 for me. All right, what do you have to say off of all that nonsense I just spewed your way?
I mean, that's pretty close to the way I think I would rank it too. I definitely think Naomi is absolutely number one choice. I think she actually would make the most sense out of everyone to win, because it's just such a new and different version of Naomi that we're seeing. It's almost like a brand new character. It's almost like a brand new wrestler altogether. The way she's presenting herself so differently from how we've seen her before. And in order to keep presenting her as the dominant force, it would make the most sense for her to win. And then if we go back a couple months, if you remember, she was challenging Nia Jax for the title and coming and looking pretty strong and coming pretty close to looking like she was going to take the title off Nia when she had it. So,
And
you
she
know,
got
if they want to
cashed in on that
continue,
match. Yeah.
yeah, but if they want to continue to make things make sense, continue to make Naomi look like a force, like a threat, then I definitely think she would be the most likely to win the match. I'd say I would agree that like maybe Giulia and Roxanne are probably at the bottom. They're still pretty young.
Yeah.
They still have so many years left, you know, to get plenty of accolades. It's not like the Money in the Bank is something that they need to win right now.
Especially
Um,
Roxanne being 23, 22 years old. That's crazy.
exactly, and especially with the like amount of fan support that I think both Roxanne and Roxanne and Giulia have.
Yeah.
I think when you look at Giulia, Roxanne, and Stephanie, and also I guess Jordan Grace, even though she isn't in the match, but she kind of also fits this category of the women who were just brought up from NXT. Those women have already such strong fan bases behind them that I think, unless something goes wrong, those are some guaranteed future stars. Like we're going to see them 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. We're still going to see these women having really, really great careers. I would be surprised if they didn't. So those are all, in my eyes, already future WWE Women's Champions. So we don't need to see them get it right this second. As for Alexa, I don't know how much they've kind of like connected her with the Wyatt Six thing.
Yeah.
It seems like they did. Yeah, it seems like they just touched on it a little bit. They just had some things going
Yeah.
on the screen,
Some
and then
history there. And she
yeah,
dresses similar to where she was with them. So I don't know.
and then
I'd
they
kind of
brought back
prefer
the.
her not in that universe personally, but I don't know.
Me too, me too. But see, that's like you were saying before with Alexa. It seems like there's a little less direction there. So it's hard for me to say that Alexa's going to win this because it seems like they could go anywhere with her.
Yeah.
And then with Rhea Ripley, I also agree. I think that they might go in a different direction with her just because she's already such a big name and such a big star that I think in order to just mix things up and make things a little bit more interesting, they're going to give it to somebody like Naomi. I think Rhea would just be too obvious, too predictable, and I just don't see them going in that direction with her. She's kind of another person like a Nia Jax or someone like that who we already saw how they got her into the WrestleMania triple threat match. Like she doesn't really have to do anything special. The fans are going to believe that a general manager would just put her in a title match. So she's already such a believable star that I don't really think she needs it. But she's a great in-ring performer, so I can't wait to see what she does in the match regardless. I think that they picked some really strong performers for this, and I think this is going to be a banger. I'll be very surprised if it's not.
Yeah, this is a transitional period for this women's roster on the main roster. So it's kind of, I like how the timing of this Money Bank transitions and cleans it all up too. And also with Naomi, I can just see all the caution tape over the Money in the Bank briefcase and
Oh
selling
yeah,
all that. It just kind of works. And honestly, surprisingly, with all the talent in this match, for her to be the favorite is kind of crazy, honestly.
yeah, and I think that would be an even better reason for her to win because it'll
No,
really
no.
legitimize her. I think a lot of fans are probably looking at more at somebody like Stephanie or Rhea as more likely to win because Rhea is a huge name. Stephanie's a big upcoming star. But then to subvert a lot of people and be like, oh no, Naomi has won. That would be a really interesting way to go. And I think that would, like I was saying before, make her character feel a lot more strong, feel a lot more threatening, feel a lot more intimidating. I could definitely see Naomi winning it for sure.
It would solidify her too in this new role. All right, Mynx, artist, content creator, where can we find you? I find you on Instagram. Is that the best place? I'll link it in the bio. Where would you like these guys to kind of check out your work?
Instagram and TikTok are the two platforms that I'm the most active on. I go live on TikTok. I'll probably go live a lot more. We just have discussions about mostly pro wrestling and then other things that are like nerd related. Sometimes just about horror movies, cartoons, comic books, a lot of I call it nerdy discussions. That's what I like to do on TikTok. Just talk about all the things that I love, including pro wrestling.
Yeah, we get a low-key horror vibe here too, so I'm sure the people will check that out.
And then also on Instagram, I upload a lot of different things, content from indie shows, some of my personal art and stuff you can find on there too, different things that I'm working on. So, yep, check me out, both of those places.
All right, guys, thank you. Mynx, we'll check in the next one, buddy.